We are back with breaking news. The New York Times' Maggie Haberman reporting that Hope Hicks, White House Communications Director, is resigning today. I'll read you from Maggie's piece. Hope Hicks, the White House Communications Director and one of President Trump's longest-serving advisors, said Wednesday that she was resigning. Hicks, 29, a former model who joined Trump's 2016 presidential campaign without any experience in politics, became known as one of the few aides who understood his personality and style. Maggie goes on to report that she's been considering leaving, but her resignation does come one day after she testified for 8 hours before the House Intel Committee, telling the panel that in her job she had occasionally been required to tell white lies, but that she had never lied about anything connected to the investigation into Russia's interference in the 2016 election. President quoted in the story in Maggie Haberman's piece in the New York Times. NBC News still working to confirm this news, but Maggie here has a quote from President Trump, who says, "Hope is outstanding and has done great work for the last 3 years. She's as smart and thoughtful as they come, a truly great person. I'll miss having her by my side, but when she approached me about pursuing other opportunities, I totally understood. I'm sure we'll work together again in the future." Eli Stokols has joined the table. You covered this White House for a long time. Your thoughts?
Well, there are a few people in this White House closer to the president than Hope Hicks, not just proximity-wise of her desk being right outside the Oval, but she was with him from the start of his campaign. And this is someone who the president really considers a second daughter of sorts. She's very close to Jared and Ivanka, and he really relies on her, oftentimes more than, initially the press secretary, more than Sean Spicer, maybe even more than Sarah Sanders and other advisors, to interface with reporters, to get his story out there.
Yeah.
And I think it's just a major loss for the president. And I would also view this, we don't know 100% what is driving this. We know that she was involved with Rob Porter, that had to be a traumatic couple of weeks for her to go through that. We know that obviously it's traumatic for a 29-year-old to be facing a grand jury and having to testify and talk about that and potentially face some legal problems as well. But within the White House, what we see Jared Kushner on the hot seat, right? Hope is part of the Jared and Ivanka wing. Yesterday, we saw Josh Rafael, who was very close with Hope Hicks. This is Jared Kushner's outgoing White House communications director. Hope and Josh really work together. Jared is in some trouble, and I think what we're starting to see is the unraveling of that power structure within the West Wing. I don't know if it speaks to what happens to Jared's position or not, but certainly it's a big loss for the president. Let
me just throw out two thoughts and ask you to react to them, Jeremy. I mean, one, we opened the show by saying the Montagues and the Capulets. I mean, it is a standoff, and the Jared and Ivanka wing has suffered a big blow, with Jared being stripped of the clearances necessary to do his job. With Josh leaving, that news broke during our hour yesterday. Hope Hicks leaving, that news breaking during our hour today. Thank you, news gods. But Eli, speaking about her as a human being, I have the benefit of not knowing her. As a White House communications director, someone who testifies under oath to telling lies is incapable of having the title of White House communications director, even in this weird White House.
Yeah, I mean, it was an astounding comment for a White House communications director to make. I mean, I could only imagine the hair on the back of your neck standing up when you heard someone acknowledging that they had to lie to the press as part of their job, as a regular part of their job, actually.
Well, and just